please. Everyone, please check your audio and video settings, please. Yeah, I think we discussed about data rendering concept now, boss. What is data rendering concept? The process of passing form data, data from controller class to view component is called data rendering. Tell me, it will be done directly or it will be done through model, a shared memory? Will it be done directly or it will be done through shared memory? Shared memory is what? Object. Shared memory is object of which class? Shared memory is the object of which class? It is the object of binding aware model map class object, boss. Binding aware model map class object, right? The process of keeping input values, request parameters like form data. Array will be having login form, registration form. To Java Bean class object, technically called model class object, is called data binding. The Java Bean that can hold multiple values in single object is called model class. Array model class is nothing but Java Bean. Java Bean is nothing but model class. So form. Okay, data binding is basically something like this, right? This is my form page where I am collecting SNO, SNAME, SADD, average value. Right? When I click on submit button, the data will go and store into student class object, which is nothing but Java Bean class object or model class object. Which is nothing but Java Bean class object or model class object. Which is nothing but Java Bean class object or model class object. Everyone getting my point there or not? Here is my form page, guys. Here is my submit button, guys. Okay. Right. Here is my
recording
submit
in
button.
progress.
The form data will be bound to student class object. Here is my model class, public class student, SNO, SNAME, SADD, average. Here is my getter and setter methods. Here are my getter and setter methods. Come on, guys. Sending data from controller to view component is called data rendering. Reading data from end user and giving reading data from end user and giving to controller as model class object is called data binding. As model class object is called data binding. Got it? So controller to view, if you are passing data, that comes under data rendering. Easy now, boss? Okay. Next one. Reading data from end user and giving to controller as model class object, data binding. So form data we are trying to put into model class object and we try to pass that model class object to the controller class as handler method argument value. That process is called data binding. That process is called data binding. Clear, my dear? Count number of form components in form page and take same number of properties in model class. Okay, form component. How many form components are there, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? How many model class properties you should take? 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to match form component values and model component property types. SADD string content, here also string. Average 90.33, here also float. SNO 101, here also integer. Yes name Raja, here also Raja. Yes name Raja, here also Raja was. Yes name Raja, here also Raja. Right was. Yeah. Take handler method in controller class at the rate model attribute annotation. Before model class type param, right now boss? What dispatcher servlet will do, guys? Based on the parameter type, it will create the necessary objects and passes them to handler method as argument values or not. Passes them to handler method as argument values. Everyone, tell me how to tell to dispatcher servlet, hey dispatcher servlet, take this model class, create object for it, take this model class. 1 minute, guys. Here, a lot of heavy rain is coming. Give me 2 minutes. Yeah, everyone, please come back. Is it raining in your area? Take handler method in controller class. Now, what is that? At the rate model attribute annotation. At the rate model attribute annotation, right? Before the model class type parameter. At the rate request mapping slash register something ra babu. Public string register. At the rate model attribute stud. At the rate model attribute stud. At the rate model attribute stud student testing. Now listen, very important. Handler mapping method, gather the signature of this method. Say something, boss. Gathers the signature of this method or not? So definitely gather the signature of the method. What do you say, guys? No doubt in that. No doubt in that. What is in the signature? What it observes? Java bean class with at the rate model attribute. So what it will do? It will create the student class object, reads the form data and stores the form data into student class object. Reads the form data and stores the form data into student class object. Is that clear, guys? Reads the form data and stores the form data into student class object. Is that clear, my dear? Are you understanding my statement? Got the point, guys? This kind of parameter in handler method makes the dispatcher servlet to perform following operations. Number one, to create model class object, student class object having name stud. Okay, an empty object will be created internally, boss. Next, read form data using request.get parameter method and write the form data to matching model class properties by calling setter methods. Write the form data to matching model class properties by calling setter methods. By simply and literally calling setter methods. What do you say, guys? By simply and literally calling setter methods. Check it out. Stud dot set SNO, integer dot parseInt, request dot get parameter of SNO. Yeah, read SNO request parameter value, set to student class object SNO property. Reading form data request dot get parameter. And sets that form data to student class. Read form data and set that form data to student class object. Clear, my dear? Got the point, guys? Check it out. Okay. Request dot get parameter SNO means this text box value came. That's a 101. Converted 101 string to integer, and we are assigning to student class object. Read name assigned to student class object. Read address assigned to student class object. Read average assigned to student class. Comfortable, guys? Oh, average we have taken as a stringer. Okay, if possible, average also should be converted. No doubt, what you said is right. Mistake is happened there. What is there? Float to dot parse float. Float to dot parse float. Request dot get parameter of get parameter SNO converted into integer SNO. S name set to S. SADD set to S. Average converted into float. Added to average. Understood? Got the point, my dear? Dispatcher servlet handler method. Having controller. Dispatcher servlet calls handler. What's the third operation, guys? What's the third operation? Dispatcher servlet calls a handler method of controller class, having that model class object as argument value. Having this model class object as the argument value. As the argument. Dispatcher servlet calls handler method of controller class, having that model class object as the argument. Simply having model class object as the argument. Clear, guys? Got the point, guys? Are you understanding my statement? Clear, my dear? Understood my statement, guys? Dispatcher servlet calls handler method having on controller class object. On controller class, having that model class object as the argument. Okay, here. What is there? What is there? Register student of stud, guys. See, guys, by seeing this method signature, dispatcher servlet will do 3 operations. Number 1, take the student class, creates the object, and creates the object using 0 param constraint. Next, number 2, reads the form data and writes that form data to model class object. That is number B. Number C, dispatcher servlet calls handler method on controller class, having this model class object as argument value. So indirectly, what happened, guys? Form data gone to controller class handler method or not? Form data has gone to controller class hand data method. Okay, guys. Okay, now listen. I think we got the basic idea. So entire credit should be given to which annotation, guys? At the rate model attribute annotation we should give entire credit to at the rate model attribute annotation. Cool, guys. Okay, now listen. Writing submitted data to model class object. Submitted form data is called one-way data binding. What, guys? One-way data binding. Writing form submitted data to model class object and writing model class object data to form component as initial values on the launch of form page is called two-way data binding. Can now see the difference? I submitted form, whatever form data is there, that has gone and stored into student class object. This is called one-way binding or not? This is called one-way binding or not? I want reply. This is called one-way data binding or not? This is called one-way binding or not? I want reply. Form page, we click on submit button. Here data binding operation is taking place. We are writing that one to student class object. For this design, form page using traditional, for this, 1 minute, for this comma. For this design form page using traditional HTML tag. Regular HTML tags are sufficient for this now, Babu. Regular HTML tags are sufficient for this, right now, boss? Okay. Super, boss. Two-way binding, listen. So on the launch of form page, whatever data is there in student class object, model class object, will become initial value. Initially what? 0, null, Hyderabad 0.0. 0, null means empty value, Hyderabad 0.0. Are you listening my statement? On the launch of form page, those values will be there as initial values now, boss. On the launch of form page, those values will be there as initial values or not? On the launch of form page, those values will be there as initial values or not? Here is my student class object, guys, ST1. When form is launched, the form data get into form. When form is launched, come on, guys. When form is launched, a student class object, whatever initial, let us assume these values are there in student class. On the launch of form page, SNO default value 0, 0 will be there. Null means no value. Hyderabad. Default value 0.0, 0.0. When form is submitted by typing new values, 101 Raja, 90.33 are the new values that are typed. 101 Raja, 90.33 are the new values, typed by the end user. New values typed by the end user, right? New values typed by the end user. Super. Now tell me, data binding operation takes place now, boss. In this process, the form data goes to student class object. In this process, the form data goes to student class object. Convinced, my dear? Got the clarity, my dear? Convinced, my dear? Got the clarity, my dear? Comfortable or not? When form is launched, student class object data will come and display into the form page. When form is submitted, the data given from form page will go and store into form data, will go and store into model class object. For this, tell me, design form page using Spring MVC supplied form tags. For this design form page using Spring MVC supplied form tags. Clear, guys? Got the point, my dear? Convinced, boss? For this design form page using Spring MVC supplied form tags. That means Spring MVC supplies these JSP tags. To design the form page supporting two-way binding process. What process? Two-way binding process. Simply supporting two-way binding process. Simply supporting two-way binding process. Are you understanding my statement, guys? By default, all form component values will be treated as a text values, right? While storing into model class object, they will be converted and stored. They will be converted and stored, right now, boss? Yes or no, na? So that's the reason all conversions are taking place now, boss. SNO is what type here? Int type. But 101 comes as what? String value. That's why internally it will be converted and stored into student class object. Internally it will be converted and stored into student class object. Got the point, my dear? Understood, guys? Got the point, my dear? Understood, guys? While working with form pages, we have two phases to deal. One is form launching phase, Bob. Form launching phase. Listen. Form launching phase. First we give one request. For that request, form page should be launched. That is called form launching phase, guys. For this, we need to take handler method, taking a get mode request, and this handler method should return logical view name of the form page. Logical view name of the form page. Listen, guys. Directly we won't launch the form page now. We type URL in the browser address bar that gives a get mode request. We click on hyperlink that gives get mode request. There should be handler method taking that request and launching the form page. There should be one handler method taking the request and handling. There should be one handler method taking the request and handling the request, guys. What we said? For this, we need to take handler method in controller class, taking the get mode request, and this handler method should return logical view name of the form page. Should return logical view name of the form page. should return logical view name of the form page. Got it, my dear? Are you understanding my statement? This is form launching phase, guys. This is form submission phase, guys. One is form launching phase, other one is form submission phase. Yeah, let's concentrate on form submission phase. For this, we need to take handler method having post mode request. Having post mode request. And this handler method should get submitted form data as model class object in the parameter of the handler method. In the parameter of the handler method. Understanding my statement? Yeah. This is form submission, guys. This always gets post mode request, guys. Generally post mode request. What this handler method should do? Should read the form data, should store form data into model class object, and should get model class object as the argument value. Should get model class object as argument value. Okay, now most important, guys. Note, from Spring 4.x, the alternate for request mapping is get mapping, post mapping. In request mapping, if you want to tell, you should handle get mode request, you should handle post mode request, means you should give additional information. But get mapping, get mapping, what is the get mapping meaning, guys? What is post mapping? Request mapping that deals with post mode request. Request mapping dealing with post mode request. Dealing with post mode request. Request mapping dealing with what is there? Get mode request. Dealing with get mode request. Here is my post mode request, guys. Here is my get mode request. Here is post, here is get. Superna boss? Okay, now listen. Okay, now I'm going to give one storyboard, guys. I'm going to give storyboard of the application that supports two-way binding. One request comes to launch the form page. Another request comes to submit the form page. Shall we get into the storyboard of that application, guys? Okay, everyone. Form launching and form submission in Spring MVC using traditional HTML form tags. Traditional HTML tag. This is traditional HTML tags. Traditional HTML tag supports one-way binding or two-way binding. Traditional HTML tag supports one-way binding or two-way binding. Supports only one-way binding. So only form data we can store into model class object. Reverse is not possible. Reverse is not possible. Right now, boss? I think today is the longest daytime. Huh? Are we having longest daytime today? Any specialty is there for today's date? May 1st, because I'm still seeing sun. Sun is there. Are you able to see the sun from my balcony? No? Not able to see? No, not at all. Huh? Let it be there. 21st June is the 21st June is the longest day, na? No, actually, daily by this time, you people will shout on me. Sir, Alexa, switch on balcony central light. But it is 6:24. I am still able to see the sun there. I'm still able to see the sun there, right? Then I got a thought. No, summer is the reason, or longest day or something. I'm using traditional HTML tags for this post. Traditional HTML tags. And listen, I'm giving get array if no mode is specified for request. What is the default mode for request, guys? The default mode for request is get. The default mode for request is get mode. If no mode is given, what is the default mode, guys? Get. Is get. Is get. Here is the URL A. Get mode request. Array no mode specified, na default is get. B. Dispatcher servlet is trapping and taking the request. Dispatcher servlet is trapping and taking the request. B. C. Handovers the request to handler mapping component. Handovers the request to handler mapping component. Handovers the request to handler mapping component. Super. Handovers the request to handler mapping A, B, C. It will search. Is there any handler method whose request path is a student? Student matching, and also should have get mode request. Get mapping / student. Okay, this method signature is gathered. This method signature is gathered. Gathered or not gathered? Super. This method signature. This method signature goes to dispatcher servlet E. Dispatcher servlet observe, no parameter, nothing. So dispatcher servlet calls this handler method. Super, guys. This method not doing anything, guys, returning logical view name. G. That logical view name goes to dispatch servlet H. Comes to view resolver I. Then J gives view object having physical view component name and location. /webinf /pages student _ form.js. /webinf /pages student _ form.js. Say something, my dear. Here we got the view object having physical view component name and location. Having physical view component name and location. Clear, guys? That is J. That is J. K. This view object goes to dispatcher servlet. K. L. This code executes. L. This is the form page now, boss. Form action student method is equal to post. Array, this is not get mode. This is the post mode. You must. Okay. Text box SNO. Text box SName. Text box average. Register button. Okay. L. This L. KL. KL. That will give me form page now, boss. KL. Okay, guys. Now tell me, guys. We fill up the form page. Once everything is done, Bob, what we do? Where is the? We click on submit button. That's fine. But why these numbers? I'm missing M. I'm missing my M. I think my K comes twice. Somehow K came twice. Oh, that's a problem. J double time. No, J is not double time. This J came twice. Okay, I understood. Actually, color changed, but the numbers are wrong. No, M is there. No. K came twice. KL up to this perfect. KL. After that, what happened? KL. This output goes to browser na. That is, I'll change the numbers. Don't worry. That is M. This KLM. This output goes to browser M. 1 minute. Leave it. I, J, K, L. This executed output M. Okay, this is form page output, guys. That is N. This is form page output, guys. That is N. Come on. Are you with me, guys? Then what is there? This is O. This is O. Form is submitted. Form is submitted or not submitted? Definitely submitted. When form is submitted, what is there? Form is submitted. It comes to this place, guys. P. We'll change the numbers. Everything will change. Form is submitted P. P. So this URL. Again, dispatcher servlet traps and takes the request, na boss. Again, dispatcher servlet traps and takes the request. This is Q. Handovers the request to whom? Handler mapping. Handovers the request to handler mapping, right? Q. This is going to be R. This is going to be R. Gather the signature of the method. Yes. Gathers the signature of the method. Yes. Gathers the signature of the method. Yes. In the signature, what is there? Map object is there, model object is there. Okay. Map object is there, model object is there. The signature of the method will be given to whom, guys? RST. RST. Gather the signature of the method. That is what? RST. Tell me next one. By seeing signature of the method, first what it will do? It will create shared memory object for map, guys. Super. Next, what it will do? Then what it will do? By seeing model attribute, tell me what happened. It creates model class object and writes form data to it, na boss. Writes form data to it. Yes or no, na boss? Okay. Tell me. T. Okay, these objects creation. I will give try. T. What is next one? After T, what is there, guys? U. U. Okay. Here also view. Data binding operation takes place or not? U and U. Data binding operation takes place or not? I want reply. U and U. Data binding operation takes place or not? Super. Then tell me what next one. Dispatcher servlet calls what? V. The second handler method whose request path is student and gives post mode request. We have second handler method. It is having post mapping student, na boss. It is having post mapping student, na boss. Come on, are you with me? Okay, here is my W. Here is my W. Request processing using form data of model class object. Okay, directly or by taking the support of service comma DAO, or by taking the support of service comma DAO classes. Service comma DAO classes. Service comma DAO classes. That is W, boss. That is W. Okay, after that, what happens, guys? It will return logical view name X. That logical view name goes to whom, guys? Dispatcher servlet. Why? This logical view name goes to view resolver. View resolver, Z. Goes to view resolver, Z. That gives me view object. That gives me view object. A1. View resolver, that is A1. This is A1, right? Okay. View resolver, here is what? A1. Here is A1. Here is A1. A1. Tell me next one. Control goes to that JSP page. B1. This code executes. C1. Executed code output comes here. And one dynamic web page will be displayed. Dynamic web page of show underscore result.js. What is that, guys? Dynamic web page of show underscore result.js. Here is my results. I hope you convinced, my dear. Okay, that is C1. C1D. C1 and D. Once again, see this. Once again, see this, guys. Okay, either by typing URL in the browser address bar, or by typing URL in the browser address bar, or by clicking on hyperlink. I generate the request. If no mode is specified, what is the default mode, guys? Get mode. Get mode. Yeah. Dispatcher servlet traps and takes the request. Hand over to handler mapping. What is the request path here? Student. Okay, what is the mode of request? Get. Is there any handler method whose request path is student and it takes get mode request? And it takes the get mode request. And it takes the get mode request. Okay, is there, guys? D question mark. Takes that method signature and gives to dispatcher servlet. E. Are there any parameters or arguments? No. Okay, F. Here, handler method is called, guys. Here, handler method is called. Understanding my statement? Here, handler method is called. Here, definitely handler method is called. F. Next one, G. This returns logical view name. Okay. H. That logical view name goes to dispatch servlet. I. View resolver goes to view resolver. J. View object, physical view component name. K. That view object goes to dispatcher servlet. L. Control goes to that view component, code executes. Form page executes. Whatever output generated, that output goes to what? M. And the form page is displayed. N. Here form page is filled up. Form page is filled up. Here form page is filled up and submitted the form. Oh, here form page is filled up and submitted the form. Here form page is filled up and submitted the form. Oh, okay. Dispatcher servlet traps and takes the request. P. Oh, acha, 1 minute. Submitted now. Based on this action URL, P submitted the request. That is O, guys. This is O. Sounding like, sorry, not O, Q. That is exactly Q. PQ. Right now, boss. Dispatcher servlet traps and takes the request, Q. Hand overs the request to handler mapping, R. What is the action path, guys? Student. It will search for handler method whose action path is slash student. It will search for the handler method whose action path is slash student, right? Whose action path is slash student. Tell me, guys, what is next? What is next? Yes. Handler method. Handler method signature is gathered. Okay. Signature. Model attribute map are there. By seeing map, it will create binding aware model map object. By seeing @model attribute, it creates model class object and writes form data into it. Writes form data into it. Okay, that is you. Okay, now tell me, guys, what happened. Dispatcher servlet. Get the signature. Dispatcher servlet calls the method. Calls the method. Here, by taking the service or DAO classes, either it will directly process the request or, okay, in the control classes, request processing happen. Returns a logical view name. X. Dispatcher servlet gets the logical view name. Y. Goes to view resolver. Z. Gives view object. A1. Gives the view object. A1. Come on, guys. Gives the view object A1. This A1 is having what? Physical view component name. Okay. Physical view component name. This view object goes to what? This place. B1. This view object goes to dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet communicates with this one, C1. Yeah, one number. Okay, I'm just giving some clarity. C1. Executed code goes to dispatcher servlet. Executed code goes to dispatcher servlet. D1. Okay, that code output comes to what? Browser has a dynamic web page content. That is E1. That is E1. Done. That is E1. That is done. C1 also there in dispatcher servlet. C1. Here is what? D1 then. D1. C1. Acha. Here D1. Here E1. Here is F1. Here is my F1. Comfortable, guys? Convinced, my dear? C1 is extra, just remove it. No, this code also executes now, boss. C1, this control comes to this code, this entire code execute. Generated output goes to dispatch servlet E1. That will generate one web page with the results. Here, what will be the results? Will be. Tell me, get mapping generally used for form launching, and post mapping generally used for form submission. Okay, B1, C1 are same. B1 came from where, guys? View object gone to dispatch servlet. That is B1. Right? Then control goes to, oh, from there control goes to, acha, confusion, huh? Okay. From there control goes to the physical view component. Its output comes to dispatcher servlet, and that's a D1. Okay, then generated output, its output comes to dispatcher servlet. Okay. That's a small mess, guys, don't worry. D1. And final output goes to browser as web page. Final output goes to browser as web page. Comfortable? Are you understanding? Thank you, guys. Have a nice time. Tomorrow when we meet, we'll implement the code.